Three men blocked a 77-year-old grandma at an ATM, but who she really was made them regret it. Winnie, a quiet grandma living near Liverpool, went out to run errands on a cold day. She wore warm clothes, visited a few shops, and decided to withdraw money from the ATM. As she stood in line, she noticed three young men nearby arguing. She didn't pay much attention, but later, while standing at the ATM, she saw someone behind her in the reflection of the screen. At first, she thought he was just standing too close, but before she could finish her transaction, she was suddenly pushed to the ground. Winnie hit the floor, stunned, but not scared. She looked up and realized the three men were trying to rob her, but what she did next left them frozen. The moment Winnie hit the ground, her mind stayed calm. Her body reacted quickly. She had trained herself long ago to stay alert. The cold pavement pressed against her hands, but she stood up without help. The young men looked at her, waiting for her to freeze. But she didn't. She stepped back from the ATM and pulled her bag close. Her eyes were sharp. Her shoulders straightened. She looked each of them in the eye and said, "Leave." Now her voice wasn't loud, but it was strong. One of the men moved toward her fast, reaching for her bag. But Winnie stepped to the side and lifted her arm just right, using his own speed against him. He stumbled forward, missing her completely. The other two froze, unsure what they had just seen. Winnie didn't attack. She didn't need to. Her quick move showed them she was not an easy target. She moved back toward the crowd and pressed the cancel button on the ATM. Her money went back in. She held her bank card tight. People nearby saw what was happening. A woman pulled out her phone to record. A man from a nearby shop shouted and ran toward them. The three young men looked around. They were no longer in control. One of them tried to speak, saying it was just a mix-up. But the fear in his eyes told the truth. Another whispered something and backed away. Then they all turned and ran. A few people ran over to Winnie. She brushed dust from her coat and smiled softly. "I'm all right," she said. The police were called. Winnie gave a clear, calm report. She remembered their faces, the colors of their jackets, and even the shoes one of them wore. The officers were surprised. Later that afternoon, the three men were caught nearby. They were quiet and didn't resist. One of them had tripped and scraped his hand. They were taken to the station. News of the event spread quickly. Winnie's neighbors called her brave. The local newspaper wrote a story about her, calling her the granny who stood her ground. Winnie didn't brag. She said she was just glad it was her, not someone weaker. She went back to her normal life, gardening, drinking tea, and walking to the shops. But from that day on, when people saw Winnie, they gave her a smile and plenty of space.